What's up, guys? This is Razorblade1812 here with a video. And today in this video I'm going to be showing you how to unlock these hidden teams in Actua Ice Hockey 2. Now, before I start off, I want to say that I am a huge fan of this game. This game is of what introduced me to hockey when I played the demo of this game back in September 1999, and I used to play the demo of this so many times, and while playing it, I understood so much of hockey, and this NHL Championship 2000 is what actually became the hockey games that I grew up with NHL Championship 2000 being the only game that I actually owned the full game of in 2000 when I bought this from the Plus store at a discount price when they actually had some PlayStation 1 games. But now we're actually talking about Actua Ice Hockey 2. Now, if you would recall that even if you beat the game on the PlayStation at least, you'll notice that you'll never get any unlockable teams. And unlike in the PC version, and where you win the Stuart Cup, basically. Yes, that's actually the GHL name, the Stanley Cup. But anyway, I'll tell you about the story of the game probably in another video. But for now, here's a little bit of a story. Now, when I also looked in the game files, which of course you can because I used PS6 and I can actually see the graphic files in there. Of course there were graphic data for the All-Star teams, which of course I assumed that you play them in the season mode, but not in exhibition unless you play the PC version where you can play as the All-Star teams. And that I assume that of course there were the Gremlin All-Stars, who were of course featured in the PC version as an unlockable team along with the Dr. Evil Meat Hooks, except that the Dr. Evil Meat Hooks team is apparently not in the PlayStation version, as I saw the game files in there. And speaking of the game files, yes, there are actually some leftovers from that Fox produced project, which of course this is what this game was going to be. It was going to be like Fox NHL Hockey or something like that. That of course Fox and Gremlin, they were actually partners at the time in '98, and they actually had some agreements that Fox Interactive also published a couple games from Gremlin in the States, Motorhead, and of course Team Lucy RC Racer, of what it's known as Buggy in PAL regions. And of course, two Actua games like Fox Sports Golf 99 and Fox Sports Soccer 99, which of course were Actua Golf 2 and Actua Soccer 2. And of course, this game was going to be, well, they actually had an NHL license. Fox actually had an NHL license, and there was going to be NHL and NHLPA players in it. But then, for some reason, Fox kind of withdrew, and Gremlin were left with finishing the game, except that this time they actually changed the NHL to the GHL, which is kind of a weird story. But Fox did actually end up teaming up with Radical Entertainment, in which they actually created NHL Championship 2000, which actually was, of course, a good game. And as I said before, that, of course, was a game from my childhood, and it was introduced me to NHL in the very first place. And that's how I also became a fan of hockey as well, and the NHL as well. Okay, now on to the unlockable teams. Now, of course, as I saw in the game files, of course there were only the Gremlin All-Stars and not the Dr. Evil Meat Hooks as they were in the PC version, not in the PlayStation version. Now, to unlock the teams, now if you remember the first Actua Ice Hockey, you actually press triangle, square, and circle. You actually hold down those buttons on the main menu screen. And after hearing the sound effects, you actually unlock the Gremlin All-Stars and the Sheffield Steelers. Now, apparently I found out that that cheat code that actually worked in the first game actually works in the second game too. I'm not actually kidding. It actually works. So I'm going to show you how to unlock. Anyway, this is the team selection screen. Here you can see. If we scroll all the way to the bottom, As you can see, you cannot play as the All-Star teams. Well, unless you're playing the season, which I actually did do, because playing 82 season games that's just way too long for me. But maybe one day I will eventually do it. But for now, I just I am actually pretty hesitant to do so. Anyway, so you do also unlock the All-Star teams in the process. So what you gotta do is you, of course, let me show you the buttons here. It's pretty dark, but yeah, these buttons here, square, triangle, and circle. You hold them down in the main menu screen, and let me do it right now, and you will hear some kind of swoosh sound effect. So let me put the cheat code in it right now. So I just put the cheat code in there, and let's take a look at the team selection screen again. And there you can see you can unlock the All-Star teams that you couldn't do in the PlayStation version unless you play the season mode. But here you can actually play the All-Star teams. In the PC version, you can play with the All-Star teams right away by default, but not in the PlayStation version unless you, of course, like I showed you, to enter a cheat code or you play the season. And of course, as you can see, you can play as the Gremlin All-Stars, which is something I actually never noticed. But unfortunately, you'll never play as the the Dr. Evil meat hooks, unlike what you do in the PC version when you win the Stuart Cup and you played the season, you won the Stuart Cup, and you unlock the cheats in the PC version, and you can play as the Dr. Evil team. But sadly not in the PlayStation version. I even tried playing in the Stuart Cup playoffs as well, and I never got neither the teams nor the cheats that you would get in the PC version. Anyway, so I'm going to show you a little matchup between, and of course, but see if you can actually play with the teams in the. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Unlike in the PC version, you can only play with the regular GHL teams in practice mode. But here in the PlayStation version, after you input the cheat code, you can actually play practice with not only the All-Star teams, but also with the Gremlin All-Stars as well, which is another difference between the PlayStation version and the PC version. Now, in the GHL, let's see. And of course, you cannot play with the Gremlin All-Stars in season mode, sadly, but you can still play season with the regular GHL teams like you would. Of course, it's the NHL, but you already knew the story. So even at customize, you can see you can't play. So anyway, let's take a look at the Gremlin All-Stars in game. And of course I'm going to be choosing the Pittsburgh Hawks, who are of course the Pittsburgh Penguins in real life, as they actually won the Stuart Cup this year. Yeah, the Stuart Cup, that's what the Stanley Cup is, like I said. Yeah, they won the Stuart Cup in 2017 against the Nashville Colts, who are of course the Nashville Predators in real life. Anyway, and Pittsburgh Hawks, the 2017 Stuart Cup champions, against the Gremlin All-Stars, which is what I am playing as for this video, just only a little bit. So, and of course, look at the rosters. Yeah, you can see the Gremlin staff, of course, in the game, as of course you would have seen them in the PC version that I also have. And of course, yeah, anyway. So let's go ahead and start the game. So it's going to load up. And yeah, sorry for that, line. This is an old CRTT.
Thank you very much. We're ready to go here at centre ice for the opening face-off.
And yet, for some reason, Tony Miller doesn't actually announce the team names, which is weird. This is also the same thing that happened in the PC version as well, which in the PC version it doesn't happen, but there's a little
Gremlin All-Stars win the draw.
And yes, I'm currently playing this with the arcade rules at the moment. A 3-on-3 arcade game. Still looks pretty goofy. I mean, like I said, this is a pretty goofy game, but then again, it's a game that's so bad it's good, and I love it. And with that being said, I would love to see this being in a much better hockey game. In fact, I'm actually currently working on a Actua Ice Hockey project for the EA Sports NHL series. NHL 2004, which of course is the one NHL game that of course a lot of people still play to this day. Same goes for NHL 09, which of course was basically the same thing as NHL 06, 07, and 08 in terms of graphical presentation, gameplay, and style, and so on. Still the same kind of game, which of course is where I'm of course going to make a project, not only for the fact that I'm a huge fan of the game, but also because I want to pay a little tribute to not only the game, but also to Gremlin Interactive, the developers. And what I'm also going to make is I'm going to port all the demo content into the full game, in which of course I'll be taking the files out of the demo of this game and put them in the full game ISO of it, which of course I'm going to be making a video as well. Of course, I tried to access the PC version files, but apparently I can't because there's no program of how you can open it. I even tried with Undragon Packer, and no, it doesn't work. And I also tried even unpacking textures, with TextMod and UMod, but still, unfortunately, to no avail. I just couldn't really do it, and neither probably can you. But then again, in the PlayStation version, you can access the graphic files, as I said, with, of course, PS6 or any other program that opens TIM files and so on. So, next time, I'm going to make a video of the restored demo content that I'm going to be putting into this game. So, and without further ado, this is a Razor Blade 212. I hope you enjoyed it. This is actually something I never figured out this actually happened, but it actually does exist, and I made a video on it just now. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope if you also play this game, then make sure you input the cheat code like I said before. It's square, triangle, circle, which is the same cheat code that was that can be used on the first Actua Ice Hockey to unlock the Gremlin All-Stars and the Sheffield Steelers, and this also works in this game too, which is something that most people never knew about until now. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next time with the unused demo content of this game. See you later!